Hey Fred, we're on video number 4. We're just extending this right out. So some more questions. All right, first one is from Dr. George Eastman up in Waltham, Massachusetts, when you did a lecture up there. He forgot to ask you this question, but it definitely concerns his partner, Marilyn. What do you know about the effects of soy products, especially tofu, on the production of estrogen?
Well, soy is like a double-edged sword. There's a lot of research that would say soy is beneficial, and again, there's a lot of research that shows that soy could be a problem here. But I'm always very, very careful about these what's so-called research in these double-blind studies. A lot of these double-blind studies, they're only factoring a very small part of the variable, so they're not really telling very much. Most times, a lot of these studies are done with an agenda. But the soy does contain isoflavones. Two of the isoflavones are adenosine and diazine. They are plant estrogens. It's a fact, it's a proven fact now that isoflavones, adenosine and diazine, if somebody had an estrogen-positive cancer, they are something you want to avoid. So I don't know the whole story there, George, why you really answered me the question. They do contain the adenosine and diazine. They do act as a subtle form of estrogen in our system. So if anybody has a problem that where too much estrogen could be a factor in cancer or some of the problems they're having, I definitely would avoid it. I'm not convinced that soy products are the best thing in the world for us. I tell people to moderate on soy. Tofu is a processed food. I've seen people have trouble with soy, so I don't encourage people to eat it. People come to see me and they say they want to eat a little bit of soy, and I have to evaluate in the context of a healthy diet. If the rest of the diet is very, very good and they are eating some cooked food and they are vegetarians and I think they might not be getting enough, then I will, encourage, tell them they can eat some soy, but I don't believe in overdoing soy. And I've had plenty of experience with people that had cancer that used fermented soy products. A lot of people being told soy is beneficial if it's fermented. I don't know. I have my doubts about that. I've seen plenty of people incorporate fermented soy into different types of cancer, and I've never seen anybody get any benefits to speak of from it. So if you can leave it out, leave it out. My philosophy is with any doubt, leave it out. I have my doubts about it. If it was me, I would avoid it. You don't need it. You can get the same nutrients that you need from plenty of foods around now that are available, that are good, wholesome, and even raw, where you can get the same benefits without getting the side effects you might be getting from soy.
Great. Thank you very much, Fred. Okay, so leave out the soy, baby. Okay, so Chell and Gino up in Connecticut. Chell is a colonic therapist up there, so she had a question for you. She goes, I'm a colonic therapist who speaks highly of you and to my clients and encourages them to go on your healthy journey. We love that. Thank you, Chell. A question gets asked a lot about coffee enemas and their value in this lifestyle. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well as the importance of colon cleansing, especially before and during a fast of any kind, please.
Well, in all my years of experience, I have found that the colon cleansing to be very, very important, especially when people have a serious, some kind of a disease they're trying to overcome. Now, I know that colonics and colon cleansing is very, very controversial. Many, many years ago, when I first got into raw foods, I was exposed to a lot of natural hygiene. I studied natural hygiene myself, and all the information available from natural hygiene were totally against colonics. And I did find out to be, I don't agree with that. I did find out to be that it wasn't true. One thing I do want to say that if you're on a water fast, then I wouldn't do any colonics, because water fasting and juice diet are completely different. If you're on a so-called juice fast, a juice diet, then I think colonics are very, very, very important, and you should, of course, you should be guided by a good colon hydrotherapist. It's really, really important, and a lot of colon hydrotherapists are very knowledgeable about nutrition. If they're good, they usually give very, very good guidance. I believe that colonic cleansing and colon hydrotherapy is very, very important to help a person through detox, along with Epsom salt baths and saunas and all these things that are being recommended. They're tremendous. I've seen people make miraculous recoveries and the difference was they were incorporating these things into their recovery. Coffee enemas. I know they use coffee enemas out at the Gerson Center with a lot of success. The caffeine dilates the portal vein, and in the process of doing that, it expedites the toxicity and the flow of bile from the liver, and that does, in a lot of cases, people having severe symptoms. What happens is it relieves the symptoms almost immediately, but you have to be careful with coffee enemas, because I've seen people that overdid them and they end up developing anemia. So be careful. I mean, get guidance from, speak to your physician about that if you can do coffee enemas, or, consult somebody that has a background in giving that kind of advice. I've never done coffee enemas myself. I never thought I needed them. I did colonics, and I did the Epsom salt baths and all those things that enable the body to detox. But the Gerson Clinic used coffee enemas very, very successfully. Max Gerson and Charlotte Gerson had some of the best results in helping people with degenerative disease and cancer. And coffee enemas were a very, very big part of their therapy out there.
Great. Thank you, Fred. That was very wonderful. And our third question is kind of like a combo here, because it talks about, protein and how much to get. But let's start off with Maria in London. She basically speaks to the idea about, she is consisting her diet of vegetables, fruits, seeds, nuts, and tofu and soy, milk, and pulses. But sadly, she slipped into eating fish and chicken, which wasn't her intended goal. And she goes, there's so much controversy about protein. Could you please just give me some general feedback about how it accelerates the aging process?
Well, there's tremendous amount of controversy about animal protein in this country. The general population, when they're talking about protein, they're really referring to animal protein. Well, this matter should have been settled many, many years ago. Francis Lappe Moore wrote a number of books. Tremendous amount of research shows that you do not have to be eating animal protein to get enough protein. I have no doubt about that. I just think we have an obsession with protein in this country. The real problem today is getting too much protein. I think with the increases of the amount of protein and protein drinks and all these things out there that people are getting more protein from, we're not getting any healthier. No doubt about it, it'll give you bigger muscles, but in the process of giving you bigger muscles, it'll probably make you the best built person in the cemetery. So I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but all the amino acids can be found in a vegan diet. I mean, I've seen so many people, and myself included. I've been eating that type of diet for over 40 years, and I'm certainly not suffering from a protein deficiency. There's no two ways about that, and I don't want to use myself as an example, but to every symptom that a person has, that if they're on a vegetarian diet, if a person that was eating animal protein had those symptoms, they wouldn't say that you're not getting enough protein. But if you're a vegetarian, or you're vegan, into veganism, and you have any kind of a symptom, if you sneeze, they're going to say it's a protein deficiency. So be very careful who you take advice from. A lot of people are told they have a protein deficiency strictly for the fact because the person advising them is hung up on animal protein, is hearing they're not eating any, and they might be in a position of authority, and they tell them that they have to, eat animal protein. Well, to me, my way of thinking is sheer nonsense. It's gotten to the point in my mind that it's nonsense. And unfortunately, a lot of people that are professionals, that's their training. And it just happens to, it's antiquated information. You don't have to eat animal protein to be a healthy person. If you're not getting enough vitamin B12, take a B12 pill and avoid all the side effects that come along with the animal protein, the problems that come with it. You're better off taking a B12 pill if you think you need one.
Great. Thank you very much, Fred. And we will continue on this topic next week in our Q&As. Thank you very much, Fred. And don't forget to check out www.fredbisciforhealth.com.